the outskirts of town, hidden from the eyes of random passers-by, stood an old antique shop. Its dusty window displayed a variety of oddities: vintage clocks, worn-out books, and even faded dolls with lifeless eyes. But the centerpiece of the display was a large mirror in a golden, intricately carved frame. Rumor had it that the mirror was cursed. Locals whispered that it could look into your soul, and those who dared to buy it vanished without a trace. Alex, a 28-year-old enthusiast of vintage items, stumbled upon the shop while searching for a unique piece to decorate his new apartment. The mirror immediately caught his eye. Something about it was irresistibly magnetic, as if an unseen force was pulling him toward it. The shopkeeper, a short man with sharp features, quickly took notice. "Oh, it has chosen you. Take it, I'll let it go for cheap," he said, flashing a crooked smile. Alex was surprised but decided to buy the mirror, thinking it was a lucky find. The very first night the mirror began to exhibit strange behavior. Alex noticed that his reflection seemed to lag slightly, moving just a fraction of a second behind him. The next morning, he found fingerprints on the glass, though he was sure he hadn't touched it. When he tried to clean them, the moment the cloth touched the surface, he heard a faint sigh emanating from the depths of the mirror. Over the next few days, Alex began to hear strange noises. At first, it was a barely audible whisper like a soft breeze, but the voices grew clearer. One night, he distinctly heard someone calling his name. "Alex, help me," whispered a woman's voice. He stared into the mirror but saw only his reflection, yet the voice unmistakably came from the mirror. On the fourth day, driven by growing curiosity, Alex decided to investigate the mirror further. Running his fingers along the ornate frame, he discovered that one of the carvings resembled a keyhole. When he touched it, a wave of icy coldness washed over him, and the mirror began to glow faintly. Slowly, the glass revealed a vision of another world. A shadowy landscape with twisted trees and an overcast gray sky. Inside the mirror, Alex saw a sinister, dreamlike world. The horizon was filled with endless black trees, whose branches curled like skeletal fingers. The ground was covered in dark, lifeless grass. In the distance, ghostly figures moved silently, pausing occasionally to look directly at him. Among the shadowy figures, one stood out, a woman in a long dress with her face hidden beneath a hood. She moved closer to the edge of the mirror, and Alex heard her whisper again, "Please help me. I've been here for so long." He felt an overwhelming urge to pull her out of the mirror, but something inside him hesitated. That night, Alex couldn't sleep. Her voice echoed in his mind. Determined to help, he decided to act. He placed his hand on the mirror, and to his shock, his hand passed through as if the glass were water. The world on the other side surged forward, pulling him in completely. Alex found himself in the shadowy realm. Everything looked just as he had seen: the forest, the gray sky, the ghostly shapes. But the woman was gone. Instead, a deep voice echoed around him, "Welcome, new prisoner." Alex spun around to see the mirror behind him cracking. Magic flickered. Magic. He rushed toward the mirror, but the way back was sealed. Through the fractured surface, he could see his apartment. To his horror, his reflection stepped out of the mirror. It was him, but its eyes were dark and lifeless. Alex realized that his reflection had taken his place in the real world, while he was trapped here, in the world of shadows, forever. A few days later, Alex's friends came to visit him, but something was off. He looked the same, but his mannerisms were different. He was quiet, distant, and seemed not to recognize some things. What they didn't know was that the Alex they saw was no longer human. The real Alex screamed in silence from the other side of the mirror, trapped in a place where no one could hear him.